So I'm definitely in my era of letting go of perfectionism. If you're on the same kind of journey as me, then keep on listening. I'm going to share some amazing tips that you can implement today and start embracing imperfection and being messy and your authentic self, because why not? One way that you can start embracing imperfection is through mindfulness practices. So for example, like meditating for 5 to 10 minutes. Pay attention to every part of your body. Scan from the top all the way down to your toes. You can also use guided meditations, but I feel like a lot of the time that distracts me from my own mind and my own thinking, and I'd rather do it myself and have that challenge. And I think that's really important, because that's where the imperfection comes in, and you don't have to be perfect when it comes to meditation. You can let your mind run free, but also let them just flow. Like, the best way people say is to let your thoughts when you're meditating pass by like clouds. Like, notice the tension when you're constantly striving for perfection, the grip that you have on it. It's like gripping a pen that you need to release, or gripping anything really that you really need to release. And it's like, that's what it feels like. That's the best way I can explain it when it comes to like releasing that tension in your body. Because a lot of the time I hold on to, I think if something upsets me or angers me, I hold on and I can feel my body tightening up, and I bring that attention back to myself. And even in that moment, I learn to like just breathe out and let my body relax. And like instantly this weight is just lifted off my shoulders and my whole body, and it just feels really, really good. You don't even have to do like meditation for this kind of practice. You just have to bring your attention back to your body and consciously release that tension. Another thing that I would say is mindful observing. So be aware. I've also spoken about this before. Be aware of the surroundings around you. So like a pretty flower, just look at its intricate details, or a painting, just anything that you see that's around you. Just really look at the item, the thing, the living object, I don't know. Just really analyze it and see like how imperfectly beautiful it actually is, because that's like nature. Nature is imperfectly beautiful, and it's always working in imperfection, but it works perfectly. Have no judgment for it, because a tree doesn't judge you. Like, you know, you look at a tree, do you judge it? I don't know, like some people might do, but I personally don't. I appreciate how unique and different every tree is, even though from far away it might look the same like the others. But once you get closer, you realize that it's unique to itself, and all the little ridges, the leaves, everything just make it what it is. And it's just beautiful to see that nature just thrives in that imperfection, day in and day out. One thing that I've really practiced for quite a while now is imperfection acceptance practice. So basically, to kind of like cut that down into more simplified terms, is accepting stuff that I find imperfect about myself and not choosing to change it. So just accepting it fully. For example, like if you have bad handwriting, also journaling is a great way to get those thoughts out and on paper and kind of out of your head. Write down that a thought that you have that is constantly kind of playing in your head, that seems to be like that perfection. For example, I need to get this exactly right. Maybe it's for your job, maybe it's a project that you're working on, maybe it's a relationship or friendship. And counteract it with a more compassionate response for yourself. So for example, it's okay if it's not perfect, I'm still learning and I'm still growing in that process, because then you show that compassion to yourself, and it's easier to be able to accept the imperfections and kind of work with that, instead of forcing yourself to change and be somebody that you're not. Also, celebrating your flaws. You can list 5 traits or habits that you have that are considered imperfect, and you can write down next to them why they make you unique and how has it positively impacted your life. Also, track the progress and not perfection. At the end of the day, you can journal one thing that you have accomplished, no matter how small it is, because it's a reminder to yourself that you are growing and you are learning, and you're just experiencing life as you should. So the worst case scenario exercise. I used to do this a lot as a kid, and I don't know whether that's just to prepare myself for like anything that bad might happen, and obviously not feel as disturbed by it later on if it did actually happen. I don't know if that's being a pessimist or not, I'm not really sure. So basically, you're just identifying a goal or a task or something that you may want, and then you can ask yourself, like, what is the worst that can happen if this doesn't go perfectly? Reflect on how manageable or unlikely that circumstance may happen. A good type of philosophy to look into is Stoicism. I think that's how you pronounce it. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Because like Marcus Aurelius and all of that stuff, I've got his book actually, his little meditations book. This one here. and it's really nice to kind of just flip through and you read little stuff. This wasn't actually supposed to be published. It was more like his diary, his thoughts, and after he died, obviously somebody found it and took it, but I am grateful for it because obviously there's very good insights into that, and it's kind of just like being able to accept the worst and think of the worst, like, you know, you'd still get out of that situation, you know, you'd still be okay. And I think accepting that, like accepting things for what they are, is truly, I think, mastering life. Another challenge that you could do is like the one take challenge. So basically what this entails is doing a task or a project, say for example writing an email or creating a painting, a drawing, and you do it in one go without adjusting anything, without changing anything. That's how you're able to accept the imperfections of things, and like that's unique to itself. Exposure therapy, I think it's called. And I really truly believe that you have to expose yourself to the things that trigger you and that upset you to be able to overcome them. And I believe that 100% because I've done it myself, and it's honestly, it's very what is the word that I want to use, empowering, when you're able to see that you're able, like when you're able to see that you are able to get over that stuff. And yes, you may still feel some sort of feeling, and you still might feel like, I don't know, like it's still there, but it doesn't affect you as much as it used to. And that in itself is honestly so satisfying, and there's no better feeling than that. And I feel like exposing yourself to the things that you try to avoid, literally the best advice I can give. And I feel like for me that's so important, because like for example me doing this, me being like so authentic and myself, and being able to talk so openly even with the judgment that may come, is so scary. But also I love myself for that, for being able to do this, and for, you know, like even like speaking, I'm not the best when it comes to creating sentences. I stutter, I always try to go over my words and tumble over my words, so I have to write myself these scripts so that I'm able to kind of get my point across and not look like an idiot. But at the same time, that's just me, and like I love myself for that, and I don't really care, and I know the people that are meant to be in my life will love me for that as well. So yeah, to go on to that, it's like sharing stuff that may make you feel really vulnerable, and it doesn't have to be like anything private. Like I feel like I like to keep my life private. I don't like people knowing like family stuff or like who I'm with or any of that kind of things. I share what I want people to know. You know, something's just supposed to be private. Like not everything needs to be public, but also, like I said, me being able to share this stuff and talk about my own opinion without the fear of judgment of others is what makes me feel authentic and vulnerable in this situation. But at the same time, it's like I'm able to connect with people better like this, and other people are able to relate to you better as well, because authenticity is always more relatable than perfection. That's just the truth. You need to also practice self-compassion, and I feel like that's obviously something that we all have probably struggled with, where we're like in our heads, oh, you're such an idiot, you could have done this better, you could have said this, you know, all of the time just replaying these things over and over and over. And I think like replacing, as soon as you get that thought, you have to replace it with something like, I love myself for who I am. May I accept myself as I am. It's okay that I'm feeling this way, because you need to validate your own feelings instead of waiting for other people to validate that. Because once you've done it for yourself, you don't need others to validate. You don't need them to validate your emotions, your feelings, and your story or whatever, because you've done it for yourself. And like, that's powerful, and it's brave, and it just shows that you're a strong person. Also with creative practices, so practicing like art that's imperfect, just doing something because you enjoy it without focusing on the outcome of it. Just put your heart and soul into something and let it be what it is. Like I said before, don't redo anything, don't try to edit, just let it flow and let it come out the way that it's supposed to. And I think like for me right now, this is kind of like an example of it, because like I said, I struggle to kind of put sentences together, and it's like I can hear it in my head and I can see in my head, but like getting it out is what really it's a real struggle for me. So this is something I'm practicing and something I want to do more of so that I can get more comfortable and confident in myself. That's it from me, guys. These exercises can be really practical and approachable and really easy to do, which helps build a mindset of self-compassion and authentic living over time, which we all want, I believe. Don't know about you, but that is what I want. That is exactly what I want, and that's what I'm working towards. So if that's what you guys are going after and you relate to this video and you learn something from this video, then do give me a follow. No, and then do subscribe to my channel, because this is something that I want to do like weekly, just reflect, like give you guys advice and just be on this journey with you guys and kind of grow as people, as a group, as a community, and all that beautiful stuff, because that's what life is about, is connecting with others and being your authentic self, learning and growing. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you very soon. Bye.